Whoops, we're live. Hey there, YouTubers. Mr. YouTuber Duder. Are you a YouTuber dude? Yeah. This is Johnny Icespy. I'm coming back with you. I got all kinds of items for you tonight. Are you ready for you to get that Gemini nerve stimulated? You want to stimulate that? Do you want to stimulate that Gemini nerve like me? We're having a little Three Sisters Pale Ale tonight. Are you a pale ale kind of guy or girl that likes to give the brain a little swirl? Okay, folks, let's talk about somebody that likes to give things a little swirl. Arnold Schwarzenegger, yeah. Mr. Leadership of the modern era of bodybuilding. I could be as big as Arnold, but who's going to feed me? Who's absolutely going to feed me? The amount of food I need to maintain that much muscle. How much muscle is that? Oh yeah, a little Indian Pale Ale tonight. No, actually, it's just a Three Sisters Pale Ale all the way from Canmore, Alberta. We're here in Banff. And we're going to be talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger and all the planetary activity that has happened since his one film that you have to guess. Arnold Schwarzenegger is a Leo at 6 degrees. Yeah, 6 degrees Leo. His sun's just right in between. I have a Leo. I'm a Leo sun at 2 degrees 34 minutes. So basically, Arnold's like my big brother, right? And my Jupiter is at 12 degrees. So he has a sun, right? I tell you, his sun's right at 6 degrees. 6 degrees away from my Jupiter. But what we notice with Arnold is that Arnold has, when we look at his chart, you go look at Arnold, right? Because we have to blend the ascendant with the sun. That's how our astrology work will always be begun. Is that proper English? I don't think so. But look, he's got a Cancer ascendant at 19 degrees, right? It's in that last degree. It's in that trade over period. And he loves to trade over. It's in that trade over period of Cancer Scorpio to Cancer Pisces. And his Mercury is right there. And his Venus is there as well in the ascendant, right? There he is. Venus and the moon. Or, sorry, the sun. My fault. How could I ever make that mistake? Because we had a little pale ale. And that way we could just sound better than stale. We're going to feed that astrology to you on the hottest rail. Yeah, astrology time, goes. Astrology time, folks. That's what we're talking about. Astrology time. We're not going to be like slime. We're going to follow the hands of time that make the chime and inspire me to rhyme. So let's get on with Arnold and what we're talking about tonight in this podcast. I'm trying to stimulate your Gemini nerve. I'm trying to build your clairvoyancy so you could see the planets and then see the signs and see our present and how it intertwines. That Gemini. I'm here to get you high just by telling you why. Okay, here we go. So, in order to have this chart and to reflect on this chart, we need an activity. We need something in his life to happen to compare the chart with that time of point. Because you look, this is the guy, right? When we blow him up like Jupiter would. That's so funny. We blow up the words, but we can't blow up the picture. But there we are. The blow up kind of chest guy, Cancer, right? If you know a Cancer ascendant, his chest or her chest could be the feature of her physique, right? So when we look at here, we got the Venus there, right? Everyone loves his chest, right? And he had the idea. He had it all together. But look at how that sun is there in that first house, right? It's in that first house that has that Cancer overlap, but at the same time, there's that Aryan, right? Remember that first house. And look how small that first house is for him, right? Mr. July 30th. He's born just 4 days after me. He's my big brother, right? If you want to see how much of my big brother he is, I mean, look at his ascendant. His ascendant is only 6 degrees away from my Cancer ascendant, right? My Cancer Mercury. Look where his Mercury is. His Mercury's at 18 degrees, and my Mercury's at 13 degrees. 5 degrees away. Of course, I'm going to look up the guy. He's born before me. But look at him. Look at this. He's got a Mars in Gemini, which at 20 degrees, and we have to remember that because we have to think about when the first H bomb. We got to think when the first nuclear atom bomb was exploded. Basically detonated at that like 15 to 18 degree Gemini mark. Trinity test. Where was Uranus for that Trinity test? And look where he is. He's got that Mars in Gemini, so his Mars is working on those biceps. That's what that Mars in Gemini is going to do. Build those biceps and triceps, and look at the shoulders and the neck and everything. That's all Gemini, right? So we're really getting a good understanding of Mars in Gemini and how well it's placed in Gemini for this kind of thing, right? But we got to see, when we look at Arnold, we got to look, he's got a moon in Capricorn, right? Structure, right? A structure-oriented moon, and the moon in the partnership sign, right? At 3 degrees. And it's like, and then here is that importance of that inconjunct again, right? Because the moon at 3 degrees, Capricorn, is inconjunct with the sun at Leo. Not trying. Energy's not moving, softly, and buttercup like, it's not trying. It's that inconjunct. Got to get some spunk into that spine and measure the time with my rhymes, right? Mr. Biceps on tour. Mr. Conan, Mr. Terminator, right? So here we go, folks. Let's look at it. We're looking at the one chart. We see he's got a lot of planets below the horizon. Then he's got that Mars and Uranus there in that house of fate and karma. And then you got Mercury there sitting on his ascendant and Mr. Bicep kind of time, That's what makes his life rhyme, right? He loves those biceps. Mercury, right? He loves those big pecs, right? Mercury, communicating. Look at it. So, and then it's, he's with that Cancer ascendant. With that Cancer ascendant, it's right across. It's right, on the other side of that Capricorn descendant that's ruled by Sagittarius. Not Sagittarius, but Saturn. Little mistake by me. Okay? Not too bad. Alright. We're doing it, guys. We're doing awesome. Now check this out, okay? We've looked at this. Let's make this snappy. Because I like the rappy, right? Okay. Oops. What's this? Nuclear battery produces power for 50 years without needing a charge. This was actually posted 6 days ago, okay? And if we remember the Terminator movie, that Terminator, the T-1000 guy, Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger, transported through time with a lightning bolt. Mr. Uranus and Jupiter working together, because time is a great, great distance. Time, Saturn, behind Jupiter, the distance, but Saturn there, 2.5 times larger than the other planets, or 1.5 times larger than the other planets. but its only net weight is that of the Earth. Time, right? The guy that's keeping the time of how far Jupiter's going to go with that lightning bolt of Uranus, right? That's the Terminator. That's the time travel. The travel is Jupiter. The time is Saturn. The structure that's moving through time is Saturn. The shape of that time is a blend of the ascendant and the sun. Now let's watch how what we saw from this seedling, this chart, the seed, the time, 4:10 a.m. Cancer ascendant, 4. But together is 5, which is Leo, and he's the sun in Leo. Isn't that kind of crazy? The Father's playing jokes with us. He's showing us some clairvoyancy, the Father. He wants this podcast to be so you know how me is so heavenly. Okay, so what is this? This is the time of high noon of the publication of the article that we're looking at right here, okay? That's what this is right here. And look at the Libra ascendant for high noon on January 11th. Would be like 6 days ago, right? It was the 17th. Now it's the 18th. So now it would be 7 days ago, right? But when we're looking at it, what the things that we have to look at aren't moving that fast. I'm going to show you this. Let's enjoy this pale ale. That's hardly stale. And when I work the astrology, I don't want to be frail. Okay, let's take a look at it. Let's show you the hottest rail, okay? Here's the nuclear battery, okay? But before that, we have to look at the release of Terminator. Because in Terminator, you're setting this thing, the cyborg, that's powered by a nuclear core, right? Atomic core. And Schwarzenegger's the guy. He's the actor. So we gotta hook up the release of the Terminator to the chart, right? Can we do this? Will the astrology actually be there? I mean, can you see it? Will you be able to see it? Because we're looking at trends, folks. We're actually looking at trends. Through Schwarzenegger's chart, we're watching trends, right? We're watching this Pluto thing. We're watching this Uranus thing. We're watching this Saturn thing. We're looking at all these different cycles. All these slow movers, right? Because the little planets, the inferior ones, are just here now, the little fleeting moments. But it's the long-term root that grows a tree that makes the soul so heavenly, right? The soul. So here we go. The release of Terminator. Would you look at this release date? Here's Arnold over here. Now look at his sun. We're going to look at the planets here. We're going to look at this. You can screenshot if you want. Here's his birth time, right? Free of charge from Astro. What a great platform. Now, look at this. Look where the sun is, and look where the moon is, and look what these degrees are, and look at the Chiron, most importantly. His Chiron is conjunct my natal Mars. Like within minutes, right? What is the Father trying to pull out of that hat? Okay? And look at this ascendant for the Terminator. For the Terminator release, I'm going to make a joke here. For the Terminator release, we have an ascendant for 3 degrees Leo. But look at that 6 minutes. 3 degrees Leo, 6 minutes. Remember, I'm a Leo at 2 degrees, 34 minutes, right? It's not even it's like a degree away, right? But look at this. And so that would put my sun in the 12th house of Neptune, right? And look at his sun, right? His sun would sit there. His sun would sit there just right there, 3 degrees, right? That's where his sun would be, in that first house. That Aries house, right? It's Terminator, Aries. Now look at Juno. Juno's at 20 degrees for the release date. June is at 20 degrees Virgo, which would be 20 degrees 27 minutes. It would be conjunct both my Pluto and my Uranus, okay? And there's Vista next, not too far away, 23 degrees. But look where Pluto is. Pluto is in Scorpio at 2 degrees 6 minutes, which would be square my sun. And look at the sun. The sun is at Mars. Look where the sun is for the release date of Terminator, right? It's 3 degrees. It's squared his sun. It's in his fourth house. Arnold probably was a stress case during that month because, the fourth house is the most difficult house of the year for all signs. For Leos, they have to deal with the water. And if you know the alligator is going to pull the cheetah or the jaguar into the water, right? While she's having a drink, right? Having a drink. And the alligator's going to snatch that cheetah's or that jaguar's neck, which is ruled by Taurus. that caiman is going to pull that cat into the water, right? In that fourth house. And look at the release date, right? 26 degrees. October 26, not 26 degrees, but October 26. And as I said, this would have been my fourth house birthday, being a Leo, of July 26. The Father is talking to us, don't you think? Yeah. Look at that fourth house. It's wide full. It's a full fourth house for Arnold, right? And when you're looking at his solar year for this release date, we're here not just about 2 charts. We're here about 3 charts, guys. Look at that. Look at that 6th house. Look at the Mars in the 6th house. His Mars in the 6th house. He's got a Capricorn, right? It's a Capricorn. It's a Saturn 6th house, right? With Mercury. 6th house is ruled by Mercury, right? And then here's Jupiter. He's traveled through time, right? And what is Mars in the 6th house? And cresting in the 6th house, most importantly, he's cresting in the 6th house at 14 degrees. He's cresting in Capricorn at 14 degrees, 53 minutes, right? Mars is absolutely cresting there. And the world is chaos and a nightmare that needs to be turned around, all right? And he's come back through time, right? This is like, he's come from, the future into the past, right? This is the story. And there's Chiron. See the Chiron? See how the Chiron is there? The Chiron's there in the 11th house, Gemini, at 7 degrees. And he's coming back into time, right? You can look at it. It's so perfect. Because it's that Uranian house, right? It's that nuclear house. The community is a nuclear experience. Here's Chiron at 7 degrees, only 5 degrees away from my ascendant, right? And look at the node. The node for this release is at 27 degrees. And what is that to me? That's only that node at 27 degrees Taurus. But look at the series. Look at the series. The series is at 21 degrees, which is what? It's so close to where the Uranus and Jupiter conjunction is about to happen. Judgment of time, right? 10th house, Aries on the cusp of a Saturn ruled house. He's come from the future, right? This is the chart for Sarah Connor. It's great, right? And look at Pallas Athena. Pallas Athena is at 4 degrees 48 minutes. X actually would be opposed my natal 5th house cusp. Yeah, I'm looking at it really close, guys. I mean, you look at the Scorpio mix here. You look at Saturn and Scorpio. You look at that Scorpio mix, eh? Holy cow. Pluto and Mars movie. Holy cow, 4th house. Now let's look what we have. And we have to look when we mix the 2 charts together, right? When we mix the 2 charts together, when we do the synergy, So, look at here's his fifth house. He's only got one planet in Scorpio, right? And that's 17 degrees 59 minutes. Saturn, right? I told you. Saturn's that timekeeper, right? It's Jupiter's the traveler, right? The Jupiter's the traveler, right? 17 degrees, 18, wants to be 18 minutes so bad. It's just like blistering. I want to be 18, right? Which would be 9, which would be Jupiter. And then we have Saturn here, 17 degrees Scorpio, which is 8. But together with 10 minutes, numerically, through numerology, that would be a 9, right? Which would be back to Jupiter again. And Pluto's so perfectly placed, right? I mean, Pluto and the Sun so perfectly placed. I mean, sex, death, regeneration, and legacy. Sean Connor. Take me to see John Connor. Okay, look at this. This is great, right? This is a great podcast. It's awesome. I mean, we're understanding this now. We're going to take it to the third chart because we need that third chapter, right? We need that third act. And what is the third act, right? What is the third act? The third act is, when we pull it back up here, a Paris-based tech writer for The Independent. Independent is Aquarius, right? Independent is Leo. Where can you find the independence in the birth chart? We find the nuclear battery. I mean, we're looking at a bodybuilder who has led the bodybuilding rage for how many decades? For a generation, right? He's a generational individual. Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? He'll never be forgotten until the human race stops breathing. Okay, so I mean, breathing is the right word because he's got that Mars and Gemini thing, eh? Mars and Gemini. Okay, so now we want to go over here, and we want to look at this. Let's look at the nuclear battery. Okay, here we go. Here's the article. So, would you rather see the article for 12 p.m. or 12 a.m.? Think about it, okay? Let's look at the charts here. Let's look at them really close here because we're glancing at the chart really quick here. We have a Libra ascendant at January 11th, okay, 2024. We have at Paris. We have a Libra, which would be a Venus and Saturn ascendant, and then we have the node in the first house at 20 degrees Libra. Right? So when we go over the Schwarzenegger's chart and we start looking for 20 degrees, here's Mars and Gemini. And then we have some semi-sextile hood happening. The semi-sextile hood over here, Mercury, at 18 degrees. Semi-sextile hood. No, actually, that would be like a square, right? The sun would be, what I meant, because I thinking about, is that the sun would be sextile to his sun would be sextile to that ascendant, right? His sun would be over here at the 11 degree mark. His sun would be in here, right? It's absolute craziness. So, no, that's the wrong chart. I moved forward. Let's go back here. Let's take a look here real quick here. Clean it up real nice. Like, the node is at 20 degrees Libra, okay? His Neptune's at 18 degrees, but that node would be trine his Mars, okay? Catching my drift? But look at this most important part, right? Look at this most important part here. Let's look at this Pallas Athena at 21 degrees Scorpio. Pallas Athena at 21 degrees Scorpio. Alright? And that's where we find his Jupiter, right? But at Pallas Athena, Scorpio would be in conjunct the Mars and Gemini. That's where the work is being done, right? The inconjuncts I find are always where the work is being done. Semi-sextiles are going to be the semi-sextiles. I find that when I find the semi-sextiles happening, it's generally first house or 12th house situations, right? We're going to look at these types of charts. Let's go. See this? Here we go. Chiron is at 3 degrees Scorpio in his chart, okay? When we look at his chart, so when we're looking at Scorpio in this chart right here, Pallas Athena for this chart is absolutely conjunct my Neptune. Eh? It's so crazy. But for Scorpio, all we have for this chart for Scorpio would be close to his Jupiter at 17 degrees Scorpio, right? That's what I have. But when we look at it 21 degrees, I mean, what do we have? I mean, as I said before, there's that in conjunct to Gemini, right? And then when we're looking around some more of this battery, we get into the Sagittarius stuff, right? Once again, where we find the Sagittarius, we find that Mercury, right? Without the battery, we can't do all those Mercurian things, right? And Sagittarius is the distance that battery will take us, that 50 years, right? And look what we have here. We have Mercury at 26 degrees Sagittarius, and that Mercury would be oppose his Mars. And then again, but mostly here's the work. Remember the inconjunct, the importance of the work involved with the inconjunct. The inconjunct is going to be so important. I mean, we're going to recognize the inconjunct and know that the inconjunct is just as important as the trine. Trine is soft, right? But the inconjunct, when the inconjunct is happening, look at 26 degrees Sagittarius. And when we look at the opposition, right? He's got that Mercury would be opposed. That Mars would be opposed. But look at the Venus. The Venus would be in conjunct with the Mercury. Because we're looking at this battery. And this battery comes from a story, right? Where was the first time we saw such a battery? Such a battery was with Arnold, right? And then we have the Venus at Sagittarius, 14 degrees. And that's what I meant by the inconjunct, because the Sagittarius Venus would be in conjunct with the Mercury, with his Mercury, right? And then you have the Ceres as well in conjunct with his Mercury. It's programming, right? It's programming. I've come for John Connor, right? Or Sarah Connor. I've come for Sarah Connor. His Mercury, right? His programming. His work. The work has, in conjunct. It's not trying. It's not soft. He's not coming for his girlfriend. The trying would be his girlfriend, right? The in conjunct would be his work to basically take care of this woman, right? She's beautiful to him because, here he is, a cyborg, right? He admires her. He knows he cherishes and he has the value of importance of taking care of her for his programmer, right? That's what it says. That's what the chart says, right? But when you look at the nuclear article, here, it's pretty fun. So, what do we see? What do we see with this nuclear article? 20 degrees. Capricorn, look at Lilith down here. Lilith just wants to be connected. Hey, look at me. Yeah, Leo, right? Capricorn. Capricorn. Look at this. It's beautiful. It's 20 degrees. It's perfect. Like it's not even. It's craziness. Did you see it beforehand? Yeah, it's a great little chart, guys. As I said, the Father shows me this stuff. I can't help but not see it. But you can see how the two charts connect. I'll shrink this one down so we can pull them together here. Because it all comes from this guy, right? I mean, here I am, the observer, right? I'm the observer. I'm the astrologer. I've been trained to look at it this way. This is what I've been doing. This is how I've been trained to recognize trends. Because I look at a story that I saw in a movie theater X amount of years ago of one of my examples that I have to follow, right? My big brother, Schwarzenegger, born 4 days after me. 20. I'm a 20. He's a Wednesday baby as well. Right? Look, check it out. He's a Wednesday baby. He's a Wednesday child as well. And it's no wonder, right? All the woe. Just imagine being the woe. He's witnessing all this woe as a Terminator or as Conan, right? Conan probably saw lots of woe. And that's what encouraged Conan to be the savior that he was, all right? The guy wielding the sword, right? Conan. There's much woe in the world. I must be Conan, right? And look at his sixth house. Look at Arnold Schwarzenegger's sixth house, right? It's a Mercurian house. Then you have a Cancer moon hanging out in a Capricorn element, and then you have a Sagittarius on the ascendant. And then the Sagittarius is that arrow guy, right? And Conan had a sword. So I hope you're enjoying some of this great astrological readings. Look, this is what we're seeing right here. This is where we are, guys. I mean, we can look at the nuclear battery, and to clean this up really quick here. When you look at the nuclear battery, and you can see where Pluto is at 29 degrees. Capricorn, right? He's in forward motion. He wants to move over to Aquarius, and eventually he will oppose Schwarzenegger's son. I'm undergoing it right now because my son's 2 degrees before Schwarzenegger's, right? Leo is you only see this opposition. All Leos will see this opposition, right? It's when the Leos will stand up, right? It is the Leos. If we are moving into the age of Aquarius and not into the age of Leo, which one is it, right? Regardless, Aquarians and Leos, ascendants, moons, or suns, these individuals will be the talk of the time for the years to come, right? Because it's this Leo Aquarius axis that we're looking at. These are the individuals that we're actually magnetically drawn to. Simply because the Father's placed them in our lives to be the examples, those missing individuals that weren't in our childhood. It's those individuals. Those are the examples that come to us through our journey of life are the individuals that we're missing in our childhood to grow with, right? This is what I'm trying to say. 12:36. Finished a little early. And I've had a pale ale. I hope the podcast hasn't been stale. Hotter than your closest rail. Okay, guys. So here we go. I mean, when you're looking at it, if there's anything that you need to know, it's right here. You can look at the charts. You can look at the composite, right? From Schwarzenegger's birthday to where we are right now, and you look at Schwarzenegger's Saturn at Leo. Schwarzenegger's Saturn and Leo. Remember, Pluto is getting ready to oppose Leo for many years to come. And these Leos will rise up to Pluto's calling, right? It's a high frequency. In this Uranus house of disruption and humanity. And it's the Leo that will find the spine and the heart to make life on Earth a more pleasant and entertaining place, to help forget all the disgrace from the evil guy that's associated with Mars. Talk to you later, guys. Hope you enjoyed the information. Over and out. That's what it's all about.